Valley Village. You're going to be seeing a video here coming up pretty soon. And the reason we wanted to do this video is to educate everyone on what school will look like in the fall. I want you to make the best, most educated decision for your child. Your child is very important to us, and I know they're very important to you. So I want you to make that choice. After you see this video, hopefully you'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like in the fall.
Hello everyone, it's great to be back communicating with all of you. We hope you're hanging in there through this unprecedented time. We're continuing to really make sure that we plan and prepare for your learners in person. If that is an option that you choose, we believe, and you've seen from Dr. Orndorff's video, that we have a safety plan approved. So between masks and social distancing and some other protocols and safety cleaning supplies, that we're ready with open arms to bring back our learners and kind of get back to a new normal as best possible. If in-person is not something that you are comfortable with at this point, we do have a second option, which is Pequea Valley online learning. One thing we learned a lot from the spring is that we need to communicate more with you. We needed to create modules that make sure they align with the learning, the curriculum, and the scope and sequence that our in-person learners are receiving, and we're doing that over the summer. One thing that we have done with the learning facilitators is go through professional development modules as well. So the first thing, module 1, was really looking at what are the best practices to make sure that we're engaging our learners, different accessibility tools, etc. The second module we looked at were those tools and making sure that we knew how to best record, how to best share that recording, how to best collaborate with those recordings, both audio and video, not just with facilitators, but also other learners, both virtually and brick and mortar. The third module was establishing that virtual classroom. How do you create that community and preparing that structure? So K2 will continue to use Class Dojo, and 3 through 12 will continue to use the platform Schoology, which is something that everybody is familiar with at this point. And making sure that we really hone in on having limited or less places that you have to go in and log into. And that was some feedback that we took serious coming out of last year as well. The fourth module we looked at was, again, community building. So again, having live lessons, reaching out, getting that feedback, really making a give and take as far as communication and collaboration between, again, the learner, learning facilitator, you as a family, brick and mortar learners, etc. The fifth module we're looking at supporting online learners that have other needs. So what accommodations should we be doing virtually as well? And the accessibility component as well, and technology supports that they need to be able to make sure that we meet their needs when it comes to whether it's a 504, an IP, or a gifted, or whatever it might be. The sixth module was really getting down to work on building the actual learning module that will follow the scope and sequence and the learning and the curriculum that is occurring here in person as well. So we're comfortable, and that was a huge goal of ours, to make sure that we're prepared for learners that aren't coming back, to make sure they remain Pequea Valley learners and go through the same learning that are in person are going through. Pequea Valley Virtual is the third option. That's something we've had for years. Jared Erb oversees that. It's a great platform. It's great curriculum. It follows the state standards. It's pretty much in line with PA Cyber or whatever cyber out there as well. We do have somebody overseas it here. It is not Pequea Valley curriculum or Pequea Valley learning facilitators. It's other learning facilitators out there. So that might meet a need at some point as well. Obviously, our goal is to have as many people here as in person that are comfortable with it. Number 2, engage in our Pequea Valley learning option with our learning facilitators. And if neither of those meet your needs, we can talk about Pequea Valley Virtual as well. So we're excited to take the next step. On July 31st, we're going to ask that you definitely make your choice by then, so we can really get planning and get ready for when the learners walk in here on the 25th of August. And again, I can't stress enough, please reach out. Any questions you have, let's have the conversation and figure out how we can best meet your needs. So again, thank you, and have a fantastic weekend.
As you can tell with Dr. Eby's message, we are really working hard, the facilitators are working hard to give all learners equal opportunities in learning. To do that, we will have in-class that we just talked about, but we also have an online component. To mesh these two together so everybody's getting the same learning, we had to adjust the schedule a little bit. So here are the times for the schedule. For elementary, they will go 9:45 and end at the same time 3:35. And for the high school and middle school, it will be 8:30 to 2:30. In addition, to assure that both the in-school learning and online learning are very, very parallel, we are going to come back to the Wisdom Wednesdays for 7 through 12 students. That schedule will be 8:30 to 12:30.
We would like to highlight 5 points in our transportation safety and health plan. We will be mandating masks or face shields on every bus. Please help us to make sure your child has their face mask or face shield each morning when they come to school. We will provide extra disposable masks on the bus if needed. We will load our bus from back to front and unload from front to back each day. We will be running our bus routes as normal as we can. With that being said, social distancing will not occur on every bus, but we will do our best to social distance as much as possible. We will be disinfecting our buses daily. And our last point is we will keep windows partially down throughout the trip to maintain airflow. So please have your child dress accordingly to the weather. If you are a parent who will be driving your child, parent pickup may change at each building. Please watch for communication from your building principal.
All right, once the kids come from the outside, get off the bus and come into the hallway, we're gonna ask them to remain having a mask on. We cannot guarantee social distance in the hallway, so that's why we want them to be masked up. As they walk into the classroom, they will sit in their learning stations, and we'll talk about that after this. All right, once the kiddos are in the classroom, they are now, as you can see, in their learning stations. We really worked hard this summer in getting 6 feet of distance between the workstations so that we can give mask breaks to the learners. So as the facilitator, I'm back here and I say, please take off your masks and have a mask break while you are reading silently or doing your math problems or whatever that is, okay? The facilitator too, once they have some distance, would be able to do this just in case they want to see the facilitator's face and hear them talking, all right? Everybody has an option though. Facilitator can wear this at all times. Students can, learners can wear this at all times, but we do want to give some mask breaks because we know it's going to get a little warm for the kiddos. We're going to try to maintain the social distance as much as possible in class, but there are going to be times that we want the kiddos to talk and do some group work and be social. If that would happen, again, we would just do the mask up, mask down routine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you 3 would get into group work and please mask up and talk about the last chapter that we just discussed in class. You can go do that now. So now, as they're getting closer, they're masking up. The facilitator needs to have their mask on if they're going to work with the kids and break that social distance. Fortunately, we are a one-to-one school, which means that every kiddo has their own device. It's been recommended not to share a lot of materials between learners. So we're going to be a lot on the computers and using individual devices instead of sharing different learning devices throughout the day. Once they are finished, we will ask them to put your lids down. And what do I hear? That is the school bell. So we will ask them to please mask up because we cannot guarantee social distancing in the hallway. That was a fabulous class, everybody. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Right now with our average classrooms, and we checked it out with the elementary, the middle school, and the high school, we can get 18 to 20 kiddos spread out 6 feet distance. Once we get a little bit over that, we have ways that we can spread the kiddos out into different classrooms. All right, with social distancing, we're going to try to get as close to 6 feet as possible. As you can see, we have two examples. One, diagonally, we're at 7 feet, and if I could get the cameraman to kind of show you that I'm not fibbing to you, from center of desk to center of desk, we got 7 feet. Now, if you look at another one, which is back in front here, center of desk to center of desk, as we look at this, we're at about 6 feet and about 4 inches. So we even got it there from in rows also. So diagonally and in rows, we feel pretty strongly that with the amount of kids that are coming back to us, that we're going to be able to social distance properly. We're very, very close to that 6 feet that we're aiming for. Once in the lunchroom, we will ask them to make sure that they social distance as much as possible. And once they have their food, they can of course take off their masks and start the eating process. Then of course, once they leave, they'll be back in the hall again, mask up, and go to their next class.
Some changes we are making in the cafeteria. We have purchased more folding tables for each school so that we can socially distance at lunch. Students will still be able to go down to lunch like they have. The lunch offerings are going to be limited. Students will get a fruit and vegetable of the day, but we aren't going to have the grab and go kind of items so that kids are touching things and putting things back. So it'll be a limited a la carte. We also want everybody to use the online payment system as much as you can. And we are waiving all fees associated with that. At this time, we've contacted the software company and we feel that we should have that in place for the start of school so you can make deposits online. We don't want to handle cash or coin if possible.
Times we're at PVIS right now. You'll see a lot of large gatherings here. Most of the time we have assemblies here because we can pull down the bleachers, have a lot of people seated here. We will not be doing this until further notice because we do not want to have large group meetings. All right, in school, education is the key, and we plan on educating our learners many, many times throughout the day, especially with hand washing. Right here we have some soap from our bathrooms, and we are going to work on proper hand washing, okay? Now, we can do happy birthday 2 times, or I've heard ABC 2 times while we're washing our hands. So what do you guys think?
ABCs.
ABCs, okay, so we're gonna go ABCs 2 times in a row, and we'll go from there, okay? We have a lot of soap, a lot of water, all right? At least we can pretend here, okay? And we will start. Who wants to start with us? Because I'm not the best singer.
I'll start.
All right, here we go. Ready? Go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And in between the fingers, there we go. Around. W, Y, and Z. Oh my God, we gotta sing that too. See?
Next time, won't you sing with me?
All right, and then we would do that another time just to make sure we get all the nooks and crannies in here, okay? All right, never forget between the fingers and all around and all that kind of stuff, okay? All right, so a lot of education with our kiddos because it's all about education at Pequea Valley School District, and we're gonna make sure we're washing our hands many times while we're learning throughout the day. All right, once the kiddos are out in the hallway, the staff is going to work together as a team. I have my teacher assistant right over here, and I are going to wipe down the desks if they are traveling back and forth, and we're going to get a different group. That way they don't get the germs of the previous person, okay? Sometimes we will have the teacher rotate in, but if kiddos are going back and forth, we're going to disinfect, and everybody is going to work on doing that as a teaching staff and just as a staff in general here at Pequea Valley School District. Once we feel all the desks are disinfected, we will, the facilitator will come out and invite the class in. Please come on in and make sure you sit in the desk of your choice because they're all spotless. Very, very good.
Hi, this is Gavin Scallier, Director of Facilities and Food Service. I want to talk to you about some of the cleaning and sanitizing changes we've made. We're very fortunate that when this first pandemic came out, we were able to stockpile some cleaning and sanitizing supplies, so we feel we are in good shape to start off the school year. On top of that, we have purchased buckets of sanitizing wipes for each classroom. So students and faculty will be able to access sanitation wipes throughout the day. We also purchased a UV light, which can sanitize a 10 by 10 foot area. So we would be able to clean and then be able to bring the light in to sanitize a room or a large area if need be, if we have an outbreak. We also have electrostatic sprayers that can fog a disinfectant for a large area. So for cleaning and sanitizing, we feel like we are in good shape to at least start the year off. Hopefully supplies will last. Thank you. I also wanted to talk to you about some new purchases that we're excited about. We were able to purchase infrared cameras that will be located at the entrances of each building, and the cameras will take the temperature of students and faculty as they enter the building. It does not record a face, it does not associate a name with a student, but it will reflect the temperature of each person. If for some reason they would be displaying a temperature, we could pull them out of line and send them to the nurse for a follow-up. Those cameras hopefully will be in place for the start of school year. We've also purchased signs and decals. The signs are approved from CDC. We have other decals for standing in certain areas. We're going to, of course, be Xing out seating area to limit seating area. So we've gone through each building, and we are going through each building to see what kind of we could do for spacing and social distancing.
Due to the July 1st order signed by Dr. Levine, we will ask all of our staff and learners to wear masks while in school district buildings. With further guidance given on July 16th by the Department of Education, we will require doctor's notes if a learner is not able to wear a mask. Please contact your school principal or Kathy Koenig, the Director of Student Services. When you obtain a doctor's note, we will need to sit down in a meeting to look at accommodations and modifications needed through a 504 plan or an IEP. The Pequea Valley School District will be providing reusable masks to our staff and our learners. If you would prefer your son or daughter to wear a face shield, this will be allowed in place of a face mask, but we will need families to provide face shields. We know that attendance will be a concern for some families during these uncharted times. Our administrative team will be as flexible as we can with our attendance policy. We will be reviewing attendance on a weekly basis and communicating with families that we see need our support. If your child is sent home by the nurse or administration and asked to stay home for a set number of days, we will excuse those absences. If you have further questions about attendance, please notify your building administration. Thank you. We know how important recess is and being outside for our learners. We will still be having recess at both of our elementary schools. We will also promote outside time at our secondary campus. There will be some changes to our procedures at recess, with social distancing and limiting some of the choices and equipment that we are using.
As you can see, it's not perfect. And anything about the COVID-19 virus is not perfect. We've tried very hard this summer to mitigate any issues that could cause anybody to get COVID-19. Can we guarantee that? No. And we won't guarantee that because I think it's very important that we're honest to you about that. The other thing that we haven't talked about yet are our adults, and it's very important to me and everyone else that we keep our great staff safe. We have 50-year-old, over 50, over 60. We have some facilitators and some staff that have some underlying conditions. We need to keep them safe also. But I know with the help of the community, our great school board, and all of us coming together as one, the Valley Village, we'll be able to tackle this one day at a time.